Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. How are you all doing? In today's video we're going to be discussing the move that Wan-Bissaka is making to Aston Villa, which is a loan with an obligation to buy. And is this a good deal for West Ham? What it means for West Ham's rest of the transfer window? And overall, is this a good deal for West Ham? Is it a great deal for Aston Villa? And what really do we need to do in the transfer window now, given that today it seems we have lost Nicholas Füllkrug, Wan-Bissaka and Edson Alvarez? Do we need to replace all those players? I'll let you know more. But before we get into that, if you guys do me a little favour, make sure you're hitting the like, comment and subscribe button. Your guys' support has been amazing recently, and it means a lot to me. Look, this channel is slowly growing, and I never thought anyone would watch me. So the fact that I think we've got about 215 subscribers, 214, something like that. The fact that that many people are subscribing to the channel means a lot to me. So if you guys do me a little favour, and if you want to join the channel, just make sure that you guys are up to date with everything in West Ham. It'd be great if you could hit the button. But anyway, back to the transfer. Look, I'm going to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed on the surface for this. I think it's a deal that doesn't really do anything for West Ham. Actually, it just benefits Aston Villa. I get his reason to play. I think it probably plays into our hands a little bit. But I do think that the fact we have Joel Veltman makes it still a little bit easier on my head. Because I'm going to be honest, I think we need a centre-back anyway. I think we need one centre-back. So I think that's going to be the first thing. I'm going to talk about the Wan-Bissaka of it all first, and then we'll get into the ramification of West Ham. I'm happy he's going. I'm going to be honest. I was really disappointed with his energy and effort towards the end of last season. I don't think he was a good player for us. I don't think he cared. We were in a relegation battle. I don't think he gave a crap that we needed to have full energy. We need to have full commitment. I don't think he showed that he really cared about being a West Ham player, which is a big shame given the fact that, the season prior, he was Hammer of the Year. He didn't seem like he was a player that was committed to the cause at West Ham. He didn't seem like a player that wanted anything to do with a relegation battle. I understand that he's been at Manchester United for years, comes to West Ham just off the heels of European football, and we don't have another season of European football. In fact, we kind of crap the bed and have nothing. And on one hand I get it, but also on the other hand, you're one of the reasons we're in a relegation battle because you have no energy. You have no fight, no commitment, and you can see the difference in Kyle Walker-Peters, who's been used to relegation battles, and had to wait his turn really. Yes, during AFCON, obviously he was still in the main team, but Wan-Bissaka got straight back into it, if you don't remember, very quickly after he came back from AFCON, and Walker-Peters showed that he was far more committed to the cause, far more up for the fight for West Ham, and overall, I genuinely would rather Walker-Peters start for Wan-Bissaka. And I think there is a perception difference in a lot of fans that Wan-Bissaka, I had a conversation with a mate today, and he was saying that Wan-Bissaka is our best player. I think it just shows that a lot of fans don't watch other teams outside of their own, because Wan-Bissaka is far from our best player. I wouldn't have even put him in our starting 11 last season, and the fact that he's refusing to play now, didn't show up at the media day. I get he was at the World Cup, but you look at people who were at the World Cup and still turned up for that media day. Edson Alvarez being one of them, and he came out a round later than Wan-Bissaka. I think Juff as well, obviously, went a similar level. He showed up. You have to question the... I think just the... I can't imagine, right? I can't, I get you think you're better than the Championship, and let's be honest, Wan-Bissaka, based on most of his career, is. I can't imagine the thought process of, get an entire fan base gets upset, they're let down, and your first thought is, well, I'm better than this, I'm out of here. So you're part of the problem. You were one of those of the team that got us relegated. And I will always remember Wan-Bissaka somewhat fondly. We don't know how much the obligation is yet. That hasn't come out. I really hope it's in the region of 15 million or there or thereabouts. I don't think we paid much more for him. And I'm just saying, I'm really happy we got Walker-Peters. Because Walker-Peters is somebody, to me, that doesn't give up. He personifies that I'll die on the pitch kind of vibe. He'll play for the badge. Wan-Bissaka never did that. Even when Wan-Bissaka was good, and he was good, I'm not going to misremember Wan-Bissaka's time at West Ham, that would be silly. He was very good for a season. But, for me, I think it's a true testament to your character of showing how arse you are when the backs are against the wall. Do you respond, or do you just kind of go, oh, I'm not really part of this shit? It kind of this is a really weird analogy, but it's like secondary school, right? When you're in a group, and then you want to be with the cooler group, and the group you're in now is losing social status, so you kind of switch. Sort of like the mean girl. It's Mean Girls. No, I'm joking. That is probably not with many football fans at all. But it works for me. And, I just think he thought he was better than us. And I certainly don't want any player to think like that at the club. And overall, look, again, as long as the finances are fine in the future, as long as it's not like 8 million or something like that. Because I do think Wan-Bissaka is a good player, still of a decent age, can still do a great... He's one of the best one-on-one tacklers I've ever seen. Right, let's be honest. He's really good at that. He's probably one of the best right backs in the Premier League for that. And I'm sure he will continue to do so. I'm sure he'll do great at Villa, right? If he can be asked, he will be great. That is the thing. And I'm going to be honest. I think this season we need people with grit. We need people with determination. We need Mavropanos. We need, to a certain degree, an Orford. We need a players that want to play for the badge. I don't think we have that with Wan-Bissaka. I think we have a player that genuinely doesn't want to be it. And I think what Nuno says in his interviews is correct. He needs players that are here for West Ham. He needs players that believe in the project. He wants to find the right profiles, and that's fine. Here's where we go on to the next thing, which is what does this mean for West Ham in the transfer window? Because obviously we need offensive players, more than defensive players. I think you can look at our bench and see that. Where do we go from here? Well, it depends what you want to do with Joel Veltman. Is Joel Veltman a right back or is he a centre back? I think now what I'd be doing if I was Nuno is I would get Joel Veltman in as a right back replacement. I'd get one more centre back, because here's the thing, right? I think as West Ham fans, we want to see the academy players play, and then we also want us to sign replacements as if the academy players don't exist. And I think one good centre back, whether it be a Lawler or a Disasi, and I know that the Athletic, they reported that Disasi is close to signing a new Premiership club. So we now need to go into, Niels Koppen and his team, and Nuno have to find another centre back that is of value. I really hope it's not Harwood Bellis. It stinks us getting Harwood Bellis, and I think that's one of the most fine signings I've ever seen. But it's not a signing that makes me super excited. And I think overall, if we can get the centre back signing correct, we're fine. And I think we need 3 senior centre backs. I think Golan Beckis or Casey can do a job as the 4th. I think it can, especially Golan Beckis. I think there's a lot about him, because you want to talk about development. Well, if you're not going to play Golan Beckis, you want him out on loan. You want him developing. So he's either going to play for West Ham off the bench, or he's not. Now, that's why I think we need one more centre back, and I think Veltman does enough. So I'm really not too mad. Again, I'm not mad at Wan-Bissaka going, because I always thought he was going to go. So similar with Alvarez. Same with Fulkrug, right? First of all, Fulkrug is not even a replacement in my mind, because I'd never really considered him a factor at West Ham. So for me, it's fine. He's gone. Joel Peru coming in on a loan, great. And I'll like to discuss that maybe in tomorrow's video or something, that I think that we still need one more striker. Edson Alvarez going, this is a tough one to take, because if we get rid of Freddie Potts, Alvarez and Magassa, then what on earth do we do it in the midfield? I think we need to realise that, I think that deal Freddie Potts was too good to turn down for both West Ham and him. I think to go play in the Dutch League, in the Champions League, respect to him, go do it. And it was a good deal for West Ham. So it's basically, we get 100% the profit, obviously, because we didn't pay for him. So it had to be done. I think now what West Ham do is, the next thing is really important. It's a super important transfer. It's what on earth can you do? How do you make sure that the team feel good? How do you make sure there's players that are committed to the cause? Your Tatis, your Bowens, those players that have stayed, Mavropanos, Souček. How do you make sure that those players feel vindicated in staying? We got to get the signings right, and I think overall we have. I think if you look at the signings we made, a lot of the teams in the Championship would want those signings. I think you've got to look at Veltman. I think a lot of people will be happy with getting Veltman in. I'm sure once he gets a bit more up to speed and plays a bit more minutes, he'll have more an impact. I think for sure Solomon is another player that a lot of Championship clubs would have wanted based on profile and just how good he is and how effective he was back in the day. Arnie Engels, we're yet to see, but I know he was wanted by Nottingham Forest in the Premier League last season. So it's not exactly like these are players. We've not got it wrong yet. And I think Joel Peru, you can add him to the list on loan of players that Championship teams would want. I think we've done very well with our 4. If we get Peru over the line, he's passed his medical and stuff. I'll do a video if he gets announced as and when, whether it be tomorrow. It certainly won't be tonight. I think overall we just need to sit here and go, okay, cool. We're doing well. But the issue is that if we start having a mass exodus, we need to get, I think if all 3 of them go, Alvarez, Magassa, obviously Potts is gone. So you're looking at, we need one more replacement. I think we need one more creative midfielder anyway. Because I don't think we'll ever play Tati in the 10, which is what I think we should do. If it was up to me, Tati would be a number 10. He would be the exact kind of role he was playing before. I think we need another striker in. I think we need another winger. I think we need another midfielder, maybe 2, a centre back and a right back. Maybe it's tough, isn't it? But we need 6. But now it's a 1 in 1 out system, because that's without any any changes made. So we still have a lot to do in a very short space of time, and I understand we need to acclimatise to the Championship, and Championship deals get done later. I think that's what our fan base hasn't been good with this season and summer. It's just because there's not as many leaks from the club about what's going on and who's being signed, which on one end is good. We've always asked for that. We didn't want, as content creators and as fans online, of course we want to know what's going on with the club because we're nosy and we want to find out what's going on. But I do think it's important to know that our club's being run better. And the deals that we've got have kind of suggested that. We've been patient with people like Angles, but we got them over the line. Parrott doesn't seem to be possible, but that deal is getting a bit pricey for me. Apparently we're going to go in one more time if we get the deal done, but also Betis seem like they're leading the race for him now, and that's going to happen sometimes. You're going to miss out your targets, Disassi for example, but it's how you stick to your guns for the second target, the third target, and that's where you got Coppin in. That's why we got the other guy who was a Championship expert to get those players in. And overall, there's not enough player we signed yet that I've gone, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm not too sure. I think we've done very well so far. I think, either way, I think Engels is expensive, but I think he'll work out anyway, or I think we'll be able to, if he doesn't work out, we'll be able to get similar value for him just because of the age profile. But I do believe it'll work. Solomon, low money. Veltman on a free. Peru on a loan. Right? But we need to now also be able to use our money well. I think we are doing that so far, but it needs to be a lot faster. I think especially that striker and the other winger has to come in. Because if we're not going to use Maxwell Cornet, we've got Bowen, La Madrid and Solomon. And Solomon's injury prone anyway. So we have to expect at some point in the season Solomon will get injured. I think striker, we need another option because Pablo can't score. And also I think we just need another option anyway. Again, George Earthy's here, but I just don't see him doing anything. So there are things we need to do on the pitch. And I think we will get more signings in. I think we need at least another 4 or 5. And that's without anyone going out. If Alvarez goes, I don't see Magassa going without us getting another midfielder in. But the thing is, I want to create a midfielder. I don't think Engels is exactly that, unless people are saying that's exactly what he's going to do. I don't see it as much from what I've seen of Engels anyway. So I think it's a deal that we knew was going to happen. We knew Wan-Bissaka wasn't going to be here, so I'm not too mad. And I know people will say, loan with option to buy isn't great for West Ham currently, but we've also made mass profits on our players this season. So if in terms, we've done very well. I don't think we're now crapping ourselves. I think we're going, do you know what, he's not going to play anyway. I think unfortunately with that, Villa can use that as an advantage to go, we don't need to pay because he's not going to play. You need to get him off your books. That's how you do it. He's on ridiculous wages. He's not going to play football. He's gone. Same thing with Fulkrug. And the good thing is Fulkrug took a pay cut to go to Bremen. Alvarez, I just think it's a player that wasn't going to work out. I'm really sad. So when I saw him start against Portsmouth, I was like, okay, Alvarez could be it. That's one signing we don't need to fix. I think we will get money for Alvarez, though. I don't think we'll let him go on another loan. I think, he's done his time being a loan player. So yeah, there's a lot to do for West Ham, but overall, I think it's not the end of the world. But let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Please do make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And I think overall I'm feeling a bit more positive than maybe the outlook on as other people are. I think a lot of people are looking down this as a loan. Ooh, how are we going to spend the money? I don't think we have as big a money issue now technically as we did before. I don't think getting 50 million in for Wan-Bissaka would mean we'd have that 50 million to spend. I think we already have that money based on the Fernandes and Somerville deals and the wages we're getting off the books. I do think we'll be able to make deals. I think we have to remember as well that the deals aren't going to be as expensive in the Championship as they would be in the Premier League. Like, we literally broke the record for Angles and that was 20 million, whereas a lot of signings we made last season were double that. So I could be proven wrong though. I could be here in 2 weeks' time being like, we've done no more business. I'm an idiot. But I hope not. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below and make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Take it easy and bye-bye.